The hook. The night was dark, heavy with clouds, and the rain came down like needles against the earth. The village slept quietly, but far at the edge a group of angry people moved through the mud. Their torches burned even in the storm, their faces filled with fear and hate. At the center of this angry group was a strange woman. She did not look like them. Her skin shimmered faintly, almost glowing under the torchlight. Her hair was tangled with dirt, her clothes torn. Her eyes, large and bright, not human at all, held both terror and sadness. The villagers shouted curses. They called her a demon, a witch, a monster. She stumbled as they dragged her forward, her bare feet bleeding on the rough ground. She tried to speak, to explain, but every word from her mouth only made them angrier. Her voice was soft, almost musical, but they could not hear it. They did not want to. The path ended at an old, broken well. The stones were covered in moss, the water inside filthy and black. Long ago, no one came near it. People said the well was cursed, a place of death. Tonight, the villagers had chosen it as her grave. "Throw her in," one man shouted. "Yes, let the curse swallow her." Another cried. The alien woman struggled weakly. She was not strong enough to fight. The rain dripped down her face like tears. Her glowing eyes looked at the crowd one last time, not with anger, but with sorrow. Then with one final push, they hurled her into the darkness. Her scream echoed through the hollow stone walls as her body hit the cold water below. The villagers leaned over for a moment, listening. When the splashing stopped, they turned away. Their job was done. To them, the monster was gone. But inside the well, she was not dead. She was alive. She gasped for breath, coughing on the dirty water, her voice trembling as she cried out, "Help me. Please, someone help me." Her voice carried into the night, soft but strange, echoing in ways no human sound ever could. For a long time, no one answered. The storm swallowed her cries. The village slept again. The world turned silent, then footsteps. Small, careful footsteps in the mud. A boy had heard her. He was not like the others. He was poor, an outcast, often ignored by the people of the village. His name was not important to them. He lived on the edge of the town in a small broken hut with no family left to care for him. When the crowd had passed earlier, he had hidden and watched. He had seen the glowing woman, the way she had fallen and the way the people treated her. Something inside him burned with curiosity. Now, long after the villagers had gone, he came closer. The boy stood near the well, clutching a small lantern. The flame shook in the wet wind, but it gave him enough light to see the dark hole before him. He leaned over the stones, his heart beating fast. "Who's down there?" he whispered. For a moment there was only silence. Then the voice came back, soft, trembling, but filled with hope. "Please, I am here, don't leave me." The boy froze. It was not a human voice, not exactly. It was too clear, too smooth, like a song. And yet it was a voice filled with pain, begging for life. He almost ran. Every story he had heard from the villagers told him to run. Monsters in the well, demons in the dark, cursed beings who fed on children. But still his feet did not move. His hands shook, but his eyes stayed fixed on the black water. He swallowed hard and whispered again. Are you a ghost?" A faint laugh came from below, though it was mixed with tears. "No, not ghost, not demon. I am alive, and I need help." The boy's chest tightened. He knew he should leave. If the villagers found him here, they would punish him. If the stories were true, the creature could kill him. But something inside him, something stronger than fear, kept him rooted to the spot. The rain slowed. The storm grew quieter. Only the sound of dripping water and the woman's breathing filled the air. The boy raised his lantern higher, trying to see into the darkness. For a brief second, he caught sight of her glowing eyes staring up at him from the shadows. He gasped, stumbling back. Those eyes were not human. They were too large, too bright, almost like twin stars trapped in the well. And yet they were not filled with rage or hunger. They were filled with fear. The boy's breath shook. He felt the weight of a choice pressing down on him. He could turn and run like everyone else, or he could stay. The alien woman spoke again, her voice breaking. "Please, I don't want to die here. You are the only one who hears me. Please help me." The boy looked at the lantern in his hand. Its weak flame flickered, fighting against the darkness. Then he looked back at the well. His heart pounded. His body trembled, but his voice came out steady, soft, almost too quiet to hear. "If I help you, will you hurt me?" Silence. Only the sound of the water echoing deep below. Then slowly the answer came. "No. Never." The boy stood at the edge, staring into the black hole of the well, the glowing eyes looking back at him. The night seemed to hold its breath. That was the moment everything changed, the boy's choice. The boy did not sleep that night. Even after leaving the well, her voice echoed in his ears. The way she had begged, the way those glowing eyes had looked at him, it would not leave his mind. He lay on his straw bed staring at the broken roof of his hut, while the rain dripped through the holes above him. "Why me?" he whispered into the darkness. "Why did I hear her and not anyone else?" The boy knew he was different. In the village, people rarely spoke to him unless it was to scold or laugh. He had no mother, no father, no brothers or sisters. His life was silence and hunger. Sometimes he wished someone would notice him. Anyone. And now, someone had. When morning came, the villagers gathered in the square. They laughed and celebrated, saying the monster was gone. They told stories about how they had thrown her into the cursed well, how she would rot there forever. The boy listened quietly. Each word twisted his stomach. He wanted to shout, "She's still alive!" but his voice stayed trapped in his throat. He knew if he told them they would go back and finish what they had started. He kept his secret. That night, when the moon rose pale and weak, the boy returned to the well. He carried a small cloth bag with him. Inside it, a piece of stale bread and a jug of water. His heart beat so loudly he thought it might wake the whole village. He reached the mossy stones and looked down. Darkness stared back. For a moment he thought maybe she was gone, maybe she had drowned, but then her voice rose softly from below. "You came back." The boy almost dropped the bag. Her words were weak but filled with relief. I brought you food," he said, his voice shaking. He tied the bag to a rope and lowered it carefully into the well. She reached out with trembling hands, her long fingers brushing the rope. He saw the faint glow of her skin shining like moonlight. She took the bag, whispered thanks, and began to eat slowly. The boy sat by the stones, hugging his knees, watching the night sky. He wanted to ask her many things, but fear held him back. Finally, he whispered, "What are you?" There was silence for a long time. Only the sound of water echoed. Then she answered, her voice soft, "I am not from here. I came from far away. But I was hunted, captured, and left to die." The boy swallowed hard. "Are you dangerous?" She laughed gently, though it was sad. "If I were dangerous, you would already be gone." Her words made his skin prickle. But something inside him trusted her. She did not sound like the monsters from the stories. She sounded tired, lonely, just like him. Every night after that, the boy returned. Sometimes he brought food, sometimes only water. They spoke in whispers, afraid of the villagers hearing. He learned that she could understand his language, though her voice always had a strange musical tone. She told him little pieces of her story, never everything at once. She spoke of stars beyond the sky, of a place where light was eternal, and of enemies who wanted her dead. The boy did not understand all of it, but he listened with wide eyes. One night he asked, "Why me? Why did I hear you when no one else did?" Her glowing eyes looked up at him. "Because you were willing to listen. Others closed their ears. You did not." The boy felt his chest tighten. No one had ever said something like that to him before. He mattered. To her, at least, but fear still lived inside him. He remembered the villagers' warnings, their hatred. He remembered the stories of demons and curses. He looked down at her one night and asked again, "If I keep helping you, will you hurt me one day?" She looked at him silently, then shook her head. "No, never. I have nothing but my voice. And my hope." The boy's hands trembled, but he nodded slowly. "Then I'll keep coming. I'll help you." From that night, a bond began to grow between them. The boy felt less alone, less forgotten. He would spend hours by the well, telling her about the village, about the fields, about the dreams he never dared share with anyone. She listened, always patient, her glowing eyes watching him with kindness. But danger was never far. Sometimes as he walked back home, he saw shadows moving. Villagers whispered about strange sounds near the well, about lights that flickered at night. The boy kept his secret hidden deep inside, but he knew it would not stay safe forever. One evening, as he left the well, he heard a sharp voice behind him. "Why are you always out here, boy?" His heart jumped. He turned to see one of the men from the village staring at him suspiciously. The man's eyes narrowed, then drifted toward the old well. The boy forced a smile and stammered, I like the quiet. That's all." The man grunted, muttering about curses before walking away. But the boy's blood ran cold. If anyone discovered her, they would kill her. That night, as he sat by the well, he whispered urgently, "You must be careful. They're starting to notice." The alien woman's voice was calm, though her eyes glowed brighter. "Then we must hide better. But do not stop coming, boy. You are the only one I have." The boy looked at her, torn between fear and loyalty. His choice was already made the first night he whispered into the well. He could not abandon her now, but deep in his heart he wondered, how long could he keep this secret before the whole village found out? The secret rescue. The nights grew colder, and the boy's secret weighed heavier with each passing day. Every time he walked to the old well, he felt the villagers' eyes following him. Whispers floated in the air. People said the cursed place was waking again, that strange sounds and lights had returned. Still, he went. He could not stay away. Inside the well, the alien woman waited. Her voice had grown stronger, her breathing less broken. Each night when the boy lowered food or water, she greeted him with a soft smile, though her face was always half hidden in the dark. One evening she spoke with more urgency. "I cannot stay here long. The water is poison. My body weakens if I remain too deep. I must climb out, but I cannot do it alone." The boy froze. The thought of helping her escape terrified him. If anyone found out, he would not only be punished but branded a traitor. Yet when he looked into her glowing eyes, he could not bring himself to refuse. He swallowed hard. "If I help you, they will kill me too." She was silent for a moment, then said softly, "I will never forget your kindness. If I live, I will protect you." Those words stayed with him. That night, instead of going straight home, the boy sneaked into an old shed behind the fields. He found a length of rope, worn but strong, and hid it under his cloak. His hands trembled as he carried it to the well. When he arrived, the alien woman lifted her gaze from the water. "What is that?" she asked. "Your chance," the boy whispered. He tied the rope to a heavy stone and lowered it carefully. The woman reached out, her long fingers curling around it. Her hands shook from weakness, but she held firm. Slowly, she began to climb. The boy leaned over the stones, whispering encouragement. "Careful. Don't let go." Her body glowed faintly in the moonlight as she pulled herself up inch by inch. The sound of dripping water echoed with each movement. The boy's heart pounded so loudly he feared someone might hear it. Halfway up, she slipped. Her hand lost grip and she fell a short distance, the rope jerking violently. She let out a sharp cry that sent shivers down the boy's spine. "Quiet," he hissed, his eyes darting toward the dark fields. "They'll hear you." She steadied herself, her breath ragged. With renewed determination, she climbed again. Finally, her hands reached the edge of the well. The boy grabbed her wrists and pulled with all his strength. With one last effort, she rose out of the darkness and collapsed onto the grass beside him. For the first time, he saw her clearly under the moon. Her skin shimmered like silver dust, glowing faintly even in shadow. Her hair, though matted and dirty, sparkled as if it carried pieces of the night sky. Her eyes, those strange, luminous eyes, looked at him with gratitude. The boy stepped back, trembling. She was beautiful and terrifying all at once. "You're real," he whispered. She smiled weakly. "And you are brave." Before he could answer, a dog barked in the distance. The boy's blood ran cold. Someone was awake. He grabbed her hand quickly. "Come. We must hide before they see you." He led her through the tall grass, keeping low, moving like a shadow. Every sound, the crunch of leaves, the snap of a twig, felt like thunder in the quiet night. At last, they reached his hut. It was small and broken, barely large enough for one person, but it was the only place he could hide her. He pulled aside the ragged curtain and motioned for her to enter. Inside, the woman sat on the floor, her glowing skin lighting the dark room faintly. She looked around, touching the rough wooden walls, the straw bed, the cracked clay bowl. "This is where you live?" she asked softly. The boy looked away, ashamed. "It's not much," but she shook her head. "It is yours. That makes it more than much." For the first time in years, the boy felt warmth in his chest. Someone had spoken to him with respect, not pity or scorn. Still, fear gnawed at him. "If they find you here, they'll burn us both." She placed her glowing hand on his. "Then we must be careful. But tonight, because of you, I am free." The boy could not sleep. He listened to every sound outside, afraid the villagers would storm in. But no one came. The night passed and the first light of dawn touched the sky. When the woman stirred, she whispered, "I cannot stay hidden here long. I need to heal. I need strength, then. I can leave this place. The boy's eyes widened. Leave? Where will you go? She looked toward the rising sun, her gaze far away. Somewhere safe. Somewhere the hunters cannot follow. But until then, I need you. The boy nodded slowly. He had already chosen. Whatever happened, he would help her. But outside, in the village, people had begun to notice. Farmers swore they saw strange lights in the night. Children whispered about shadows moving in the fields. And one man, the same who had questioned the boy before, had seen footprints near the cursed well. Footprints that did not belong to any villager. The boy did not know it yet, but the rescue had already placed them both in greater danger. The bond. The days passed slowly, like clouds drifting across a quiet sky. Inside the boy's small hut, the alien woman stayed hidden. She rested in the darkest corner, away from the window. Her body was still weak, but each day her skin glowed a little brighter. Her voice became steadier. Her eyes, once filled with fear, now held something gentler. Peace. The boy brought her food, water, and silence. He didn't ask many questions. He just sat with her. Sometimes they spoke in whispers. Other times they said nothing at all. But even in silence, something began to grow between them. Something soft, something important. One morning she watched him as he folded his thin blanket. He did it carefully, even though it had holes and smelled of smoke. Why do you always leave this for me? She asked. He shrugged. Because you need it more. You'll be cold, she said. I'm always cold, he replied, smiling a little. The alien woman looked at him for a long moment, her glowing eyes sad. You live like this? Alone? The boy nodded. I used to have parents, but they got sick. No one helped. Then they were gone. She lowered her gaze. Your people, they fear what they don't understand. That fear makes them cruel. He looked at her. They fear you too. I know, she said quietly. But I've done nothing to them. I came here by mistake. My ship, it broke. I was just trying to survive. The boy leaned closer. Where is your home? She closed her eyes. Far beyond the stars. A place full of light. No hunger, no war, no death in the dirt. He couldn't even imagine it. His world was full of cold nights and empty stomachs. Still, the way she said it made him dream. Will you go back? He asked. Maybe, she said. But only if I can find a way to signal my kind. The boy frowned. Do you have something to do that? Not here, she answered. They took it. The villagers. When I crashed, they found my beacon. They think it's magic. I think they keep it locked away. Maybe in the old storage barn. The boy's heart beat faster. That barn stood near the village square. Always locked. Always guarded. He didn't say anything, but the idea stuck in his head like a thorn. That evening after dinner, the boy returned with a piece of charcoal and a flat stone. He began to draw shapes in the dirt floor, stars, moons, strange lines. The alien woman tilted her head. What is this? I want to understand, he said. Your world. What it looks like, she smiled softly. Then using her finger, she moved the dirt and drew alongside him. Her drawings were smooth and flowing, like wind turned into symbols. She showed him 3 suns, floating cities, oceans that glowed with color. He stared at the drawings, amazed. It's beautiful. It was, she said. Before the war, he looked at her. There's a war in your world too? She nodded. The ones who chased me, they started it. I ran to save something. Something important. She didn't say what it was. He didn't ask. He respected her silence. The days turned into a rhythm. He fed her, talked to her, listened. She taught him a few words in her language, soft sounds like whispers in the wind. He didn't say them well, but she never laughed. She only corrected him gently. One night the boy asked, Can you read minds? She smiled. No, but I can feel hearts. I can sense fear, kindness, pain. Yours is strong and kind. The boy looked down. No one's ever said that to me. Then no one has seen you clearly, she said. The words stayed with him. Not because they were fancy, but because they were true. But the village was changing. People talked more about the strange light seen near the fields. A woman swore she saw a shadow moving behind the boy's hut. Children were told not to play near the old well. And the man with the sharp eyes, the one who had questioned the boy before, began to walk past the hut more often. He said nothing. He only watched. Inside the hut, the alien woman noticed too. "It's not safe here anymore," she said one night. "I know," the boy whispered. "But I'll protect you," she smiled sadly. "You are brave. But if they find me, you won't be able to stop them. They are many, you are one." The boy clenched his fists. "Then I'll be enough somehow." Her voice was quiet. "Promise me if they come, you'll run. You'll save yourself." He shook his head. "I won't leave you behind. Not after everything." The alien woman reached out, placing her hand gently on his. "One day I will show you the stars, but only if we survive." The boy looked into her eyes, bright, strange, full of sorrow and hope. He didn't need the stars. Not really. He just needed her to stay alive. The bond, the alien woman no longer lived in the well, but she still lived in hiding. The boy had made a space for her behind his hut under a loose panel in the back wall. It wasn't much, just some cloth and dry grass, but it was safer than the cursed well. She called it better than drowning, and that made the boy smile even if it wasn't really funny. Each night when the village slept, they spoke in low voices. He told her about the world above, about cows in the field, and the old man who snored louder than thunder. She listened, resting her head on folded arms, eyes glowing softly in the dark. In return, she told him about the sky beyond their sky. "There are suns that never set," she whispered one night, "and oceans that rise into the air like rivers made of light." He listened with wide eyes, half amazed, half unsure if it was just a story, but something in her voice made him believe. "What does your home smell like?" he asked. She closed her eyes. "Like warm air and metal dust and flowers that only bloom once every 100 years. The boy blinked. "We have one flower here. It dies in a day." "Everything here dies too quickly," she said. That silence after her words was long. The boy didn't know what to say. He poked at the dirt with a stick, then asked something else. "Why do you talk to me like I matter?" She tilted her head. "Because you do. No one here thinks that. I am not from here." That made the boy smile again. By now he had given her an old scarf, a long coat, and his second shirt. She wrapped herself in them and covered her hair with a torn hood. It didn't hide her glow completely, but it helped. Sometimes during the day she hid while he went into the village. He stole small things, salt, dried fish, candles, things no one would notice missing. He hated doing it, but he told himself it was for her, not for himself. Still, danger was growing. One afternoon he returned to the hut and found her sitting in the corner, shaking. Not from fear, but from pain. Her hands were glowing too bright, her body too warm. "I think the air here is making me sick," she said softly. "The dust, the water, it's not meant for me." The boy knelt beside her. "What can I do?" "There is something they took from me," she said. "It can help me heal, maybe even call for help." He knew what she meant. The villagers had taken a strange metal object from her crash. They kept it locked away deep in the storehouse, calling it cursed treasure. They didn't know what it was. But now he did. "If I get it back," he said, "can you survive?" She looked at him. "I don't know, but I won't without it," the boy nodded. His throat was dry. His stomach turned. Stealing bread was one thing. Stealing from the storehouse was something else. "Still," he said, "then I'll try." That night she asked him to sit with her, not to talk, just to stay. So they sat together side by side in silence. The stars blinked through holes in the roof. She watched them with a soft look in her eyes. "Do you miss them?" the boy asked. "My people?" she said. "Yes, but not just them. I miss feeling safe. I miss waking up without fear." He nodded slowly. "I don't think I've ever had that." She looked at him, really looked. "You carry pain in your heart, but also something else. You're not like the others." "I'm small," he said. "I don't matter. You matter to me." His breath caught in his chest. No one had said something like that to him. Not ever. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The fire burned low. Outside, the wind pushed gently against the walls. Inside, the boy reached for a small book of drawings, old ones he'd made long ago. He showed them to her. Crude pictures of flying ships, monsters, glowing towers. "You've been dreaming of other worlds," she said, "since I was little. Maybe you were always meant to find me." The boy turned the page. He didn't know what to say to that, but deep inside something changed. She wasn't just someone to protect anymore. She was part of him now. Her safety was his purpose, and maybe, just maybe, he was hers too. But far from their hiding place, under the heavy wood of the village storehouse, the stolen object sat in silence. It was still glowing, and it had started to blink. The danger grows. The storehouse was locked, but not silent. Inside, beneath crates of old tools and forgotten grain sacks, the strange object pulsed gently in the dark. A soft blue light blinked every few seconds, slow and steady like a heartbeat. No one in the village knew what it meant. They only knew it was unnatural, and lately the blinking had grown brighter. Outside, life in the village moved on, but the air had changed. People whispered more. Doors closed earlier. Candles burned longer. One woman said she heard singing in the wind, not human singing, something soft and strange. A farmer claimed his cow refused to go near the edge of the field, where the grass had started glowing faintly at night. Most ignored these things. But not all. There was one man who listened closely. His name was Faroon. He wasn't old, but his face looked like stone. Always watching, always quiet. Years ago, he had lost someone to a fever no one could cure. Since then, he trusted nothing he didn't understand. He was the first to notice the boy's footsteps. He walks out late, Faroon told the village elder. Always alone, always near the cursed well. The elder only shrugged. He's a strange boy. Let him wander, but Faroon didn't let it go. Back near the edge of the village, the boy sat quietly beside the alien woman. Her body glowed faintly under her coat, but the glow was duller now. Her voice came out dry like wind through dead leaves. You're getting worse, the boy said, trying not to sound scared. I need the beacon, she whispered. Without it, my body will fail. I'll get it, the boy promised. Soon, but soon was not a plan. The storehouse was guarded. The villagers believed it held cursed things, things that brought fire and sickness. Anyone caught near it would be punished. Still, the boy knew he had no choice. He had to try. That night, while the village slept, he crept out with a stolen key he had copied in charcoal days before. The moon hid behind clouds, as if trying to protect him. He moved fast past empty huts, through tall grass, across the muddy path. When he reached the storehouse, he stopped to listen. Nothing. He unlocked the door with shaking hands. It groaned open louder than he wanted. He stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and silence. He moved between crates and sacks, searching. Then he saw it, tucked under a heavy cloth, still blinking. The beacon. He reached for it. The moment his fingers touched the metal, the light flashed brighter. Not enough to blind, but enough to be noticed. Outside, footsteps. The boy grabbed the device and ran. He didn't stop until he was past the last hut, past the fence, past the dying tree that marked the edge of the fields. He burst into the hut, gasping, and held out the beacon like treasure. I got it, he said, his voice cracking. You're safe now. The alien woman took the device slowly, her glowing hands curling around it like it was a piece of her. She closed her eyes. The beacon blinked once, then again. This time the light pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. It still works, she whispered. You've given me time. The boy smiled, but his relief didn't last long, because back in the village, Faroon stood in the open storehouse. The door was swinging. The beacon was gone, and he had seen footprints, small ones, leading toward the boy's hut. By morning, the village was buzzing. Someone had broken into the sacred storehouse. The elder called it a crime. Faroon called it something else. Witchcraft, he said. That boy is hiding something. I've seen him sneak out at night. I've seen the strange glow by his home. I say we search it. The people hesitated. Some still saw the boy as harmless. But fear is heavy and it spreads like smoke. That night, the boy didn't sleep. He kept watch with a knife in his hand, though he had never used one before. The alien woman sat beside him, the beacon glowing between them. Her face looked calmer now, her voice stronger. They will come soon, she said. I can feel it, the boy nodded. Then we run. She looked at him, eyes soft. You could still leave. They'll forgive you. Say I forced you. No, he said. I chose this. I chose you. For a moment, neither spoke. Outside, the wind moved through the grass like breath. The stars blinked. The woman leaned closer. If they take me, do not fight, live, that's all I ask. He shook his head. I'm tired of just living. I want to matter. Helping you, it's the first time I've ever felt real. She touched his cheek gently. Then we stand together. But they didn't know how close the danger was. Faroon had gathered a small group of men. They carried ropes and torches. One of them held a knife. They marched through the night, their boots crushing the quiet. And at the front of the group, Faroon said coldly, "We end this tonight." The betrayal, the boy didn't hear them coming. The night was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind had stopped moving through the grass. No owls, no frogs, no sound but his own heartbeat. Inside the hut, the alien woman sat with the beacon in her lap. It pulsed with a steady blue light now, stronger than before. She looked better. She breathed more easily. Her skin no longer shimmered with sickness. The boy had just handed her a piece of bread when the knock came. Bang, bang, bang. Not a soft knock. Not the kind a friend makes. This was heavy, loud, angry. His eyes widened. He dropped the bread. "Don't answer," she whispered. Her hand reached out and grabbed his. "They're here." The boy didn't move. The door shook again. Then came a voice. "Open up, boy, now." Faroon, the boy, stood slowly. His legs felt like they weren't part of his body. His hand reached for the door, but he turned to her one last time. "Hide, please." She nodded and moved to the back wall, slipping behind the curtain of rags they used to cover her during the day. Her glow faded, dimming like a dying flame. The boy opened the door. 5 men stood there. Faroon was in front. Behind him, 2 held ropes. One carried a burning torch. Another held a wooden club. Their faces looked hard, unforgiving. Faroon stepped forward. "Where is it?" The boy blinked. "Where's what?" Faroon's eyes narrowed. "Don't play games." "The object from the storehouse. The one that hums. It's gone. And so are your footprints, leading right to it." The boy's mouth went dry. "I don't know what you're talking about." Faroon pushed past him into the hut. The others followed. They started pulling things apart, lifting blankets, throwing clay bowls aside, tipping over the straw bed. "Stop," the boy shouted. "There's nothing here." One man kicked open the small chest in the corner. Another pulled down the curtain in the back and froze. She stood there, covered in cloth but still glowing faintly. Her silver skin shimmered softly. Her eyes, wide and alert, locked onto Faroon's face. Everything stopped for one long moment. Then Faroon raised his hand and shouted, "Monster!" The men rushed forward. "No!" the boy screamed, throwing himself between them. He grabbed Faroon's arm, trying to push him back. Faroon struck him. The boy fell to the floor, his head hitting the ground hard. Everything spun. His ears rang. His vision blurred. When he looked up again, they had surrounded her. She didn't run. She didn't scream. She just stood there, tall and silent. She held the beacon close to her chest like a piece of her own heart. Faroon pointed the club at her. "What is that thing?" She said nothing. "Speak." The boy tried to rise. "She's not dangerous," he yelled. "She didn't hurt anyone." "She's tricked you," Faroon growled. "Filled your head with lies. She's poisoned you. She saved me," the boy shouted. "She's the only one who's ever seen me." Faroon raised his hand again, this time toward her. "Take her." The men grabbed her arms. She didn't fight. Her eyes never left the boy. He crawled toward her, blood dripping from his lip. "Please," he begged, "don't hurt her, please." She looked down at him and whispered, "It's okay." Then they dragged her away. The whole village gathered in the square. They tied her hands even though she didn't resist. They pushed her to her knees. The people shouted words the boy couldn't hear. His ears still rang. His head ached. He pushed through the crowd, tried to get closer, but someone held him back. The elder stood beside Faroon, frowning. "We warned you," he said. "We warned you about the well. And yet you brought the darkness back." "She's not darkness," the boy cried. "She's light." She's a curse," Faroon snapped. "And you're her puppet." They threw wood at her feet. Someone brought oil, the boy screamed. "No, stop!" She looked at him calmly. Her eyes were glowing again, bright now, burning with something stronger than fear. "I forgive you," she said softly. "Don't say that," he begged. "Don't give up, fight!" But she didn't, not yet. Faroon lit the torch. The fire caught fast. The boy watched in horror as the flames crept closer. Then everything changed. The beacon in her hands began to blink, fast, loud, brighter than ever. A sharp hum filled the air, so loud it made people cover their ears. The fire stopped. The flames bent backward as if pulled by invisible hands. Then she stood, Her bindings burned away in a flash of blue light. Her eyes turned white. Her body lifted an inch off the ground. The crowd stepped back in fear. She didn't attack. She didn't shout. She only looked at the boy and nodded once. Then the beacon pulsed again. A wave of energy exploded from it, pushing everyone away like dust in the wind. When the boy opened his eyes, she was gone. And so was the sky. The final choice. The sky was not gone, but it was different. Above the village, the stars flickered unnaturally like they were blinking in a new pattern. One by one, clouds turned silver. The moon grew brighter. The air itself changed. It felt lighter, thinner, like it was being pulled upward. The villagers stood in silence. No one spoke. No one moved. Faroon lay on the ground, eyes wide, mouth open. The torch he had dropped was still burning, but the flames curled backward, refusing to rise. The alien woman had vanished. So had the boy. The boy didn't know where he was at first. There was no ground. No sky. Only light, soft and cold, like the space between dreams. He floated weightless, heart pounding. Then he saw her. She stood a few feet away, no longer weak, no longer wrapped in rags. Her skin glowed like starlight. Her hair flowed behind her like it was underwater, and in her hands the beacon pulsed calmly.